Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Jeremy Strain. Jeremy, thank you so much for the support. We could not do this without you and we really do appreciate it. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Jeremy, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so when we left off yesterday, Jackson did not use the power of veto, which means that Christie or Sis will be leaving on Thursday. So as of right now, it's pretty clear that Christie will be going, because why would anybody vote out Sis over Christie, right? But she is planning a big campaign, so you never know what could happen. So her campaign, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. She's basically gonna focus on trashing Nick because he's working with everyone and he's been planting seeds so that Cliff and Nicole will go after Tommy and Sis and vice versa. And they'll all take each other out. And he's just so comfortable that he can just keep throwing competitions and he'll skate right to the end with Jackson and Holly. Where does that leave Jess? where does she fit into all this? So anyway, Christie's gonna be like, keep me to take out Nick. I'm a competitor. I will be a big target in front of you. No offense to Sis, but like, she's protected. She's just gonna keep going up as a pawn, but like, who's actually gonna get rid of her? So, you know. So then, Christie is saying, even if this doesn't work, she at least wants to make sure Sis and Tommy will be safe next week and Nick will be the target instead of them. So, she is ready to drive that bus over Nick. Okay, so then Christie was talking to Sis and she says she's just gonna stay quiet for now, but when campaign day comes, she's going off. I'm sorry, I'm battling a summer cold right now, which is super annoying, but it's a lot. Okay, so anyway, Christie says that Nick is acting all sad and mopey now because he knows that Christie is onto him and she's gonna blow up his game. So yeah, he should be freaking out. And Christie starts telling Sis all about why Nick sucks and all the people that he's working with and has deals with. So Sis is like, whoa, I wanna question him on all of this shit. So Sis asks Nick if they can talk. So yes, they are up in the HOH room together. And Sis is like, what is your issue? What is your problem? It's a great way to start a conversation with someone. So Nick says, I don't know, you tell me. Like, something is going on between you and Christie. Like, in regards to me. He says, I heard Christie bitching about me to you earlier. And Sis is like, saying what? Really? So he's like, I don't know, but I'm not stupid. I know that it was about me. So Nick says, he is really getting sick of people not trusting him. We hear him say this whenever he's accused of something. So he's like, I'm getting really sick of people not trusting me. I couldn't be any more transparent with my game. And he asks her, oh my God, he asks her, do you have any questions for me about my game? So Sis asks him, can't say the word ask anymore. Sis asks him if he's feeding stuff to Nicole and telling her that Sis is going after her. So Nick is like, no, why would I say that to Nicole? He has said that to Nicole and I think he knows that. So Sis is like, oh, so you never told Sam to tell her that? You never told Nicole that I was going after her? And Nick is like, oh, like 4 weeks ago when Sam was still here? You got caught, boy. So Nick admits, yes, I did tell her that. And Sis is like, why would you tell her? Why would you tell her that? So Nick says, because you were going after her. She asked me and I told her. That's not a good answer. So then Sis is like, well, I told you that because I trusted you. Why would you tell Nicole if we're supposed to be working together? So Nick is like, I don't know, Sis. I can't tell you. I don't know why I did that. Oh my God. Okay, so then Sis is like, this is exactly why I am skeptical about you. And I lose trust in you. You know, you're always saying, why don't you trust me? This is why. So then she's like, were you trying to pit me and Nicole against each other? And Nick says, no, I don't know why I did it. Oh, you so dumb. So then Sis asks him, did you make a deal with Jackson this week? And that's why you're not up on the block. Because Sis and Christie just, it doesn't make sense to them why Nick would not be up on the block this week. He is the one that created that deal with Cliff last week for everyone basically to target Holly and Jackson. So why is he not on the block? So then Nick says, no, I made a deal with them before the HOH competition. It was like 2 days before. And I even told Tommy about it, which is true. And then Sis yells, and that's why you threw it. Because you made a deal with them. And Nick is like, I didn't throw the HOH competition. So voices are getting louder here. And Sis is like, okay, well then why aren't you up on the block? And he says he thought that he was going to be up on the block. He was really surprised that he wasn't nominated. He thought he was going to go up because of the blow up. But then Jackson said, no, I'm going to honor the deal that we made. So he was very surprised about that. So then Sis brings up how Nick was saying before that if he won HOH, he was going to put up Jess and Holly. But now he's saying he wouldn't want to put up Holly. He's not sure who he would put up next to Jess as a pawn. So Nick says, I don't have a deal with Holly right now going into next week. That sounds like a lie, because he did already tell Jackson and Holly that he would not put them up next week. He's already set that up with them. So Nick says, I'm so done not being trusted. I'm not going to fight for your trust anymore. If you win HOH and you don't believe me, then you can put me up on the block. So dramatic. So he says, do what you want to do. I'm not doing anything sketchy. Really though? You're not doing anything sketchy? Okay. So Nick starts crying, and oh my god, he is like sucking his snots back up, and it was disgusting. And at one point it was like every other word or so, and it was so nasty. Ugh. So he's crying about how no one trusts him 100% anymore. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because you're really freaking sketchy. So then Sis gets a little teary-eyed too. She starts crying a little bit. They keep rehashing the same stuff over and over and over again. Something new, Nick is insisting that he wants to go to the end with Sis and Tommy, not Nicole and Cliff. Like, he is working, like, he wants to keep Nicole safe until, like, Final 4 or whatever, but he keeps saying Final 3 with Sis and Tommy. So he says, I don't think I could beat Cliff, and beating Nicole would just be boring. Wow, okay, sure. So then Nick is telling Sis, I'm sorry you ever felt like you couldn't trust me 100%. And Sis is like, I'm just scared because everyone that I'm loyal to is leaving. And she also doesn't feel like 100% with Tommy right now because Tommy is so close to Jackson and Holly, and she doesn't really trust them anymore, obviously. So she's not feeling great about her position in the game right now. So then Jackson finally comes up to the HOH room and breaks this shit up by he's like popping Sis's zits. Ew. So then after that, Sis tells Christie about her chat with Nick, and she says, yeah, he admitted that he did tell Nicole that Sis was targeting her. So Sis, however, believes that Nick did not throw the HOH competition, because Nick was all like, I was fighting so hard for it and I started out so great, but I only had like 2 graham crackers and cereal that day, so I ran out of gas. And he was saying like, I knew I wasn't gonna win this thing because Jackson wasn't slowing down, so I wasn't gonna like bust my ass over it. Sorry, my throat's like really sore. So Christie says, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm blowing up his game. And it's gonna be really awkward for everyone. But I have nothing to lose because I'm going home at this point. So I'm just gonna do this. So she's saying even if she does go home, again, she wants to make Nick the next target so it won't be Sis or Tommy. And Christie says she is going to blow up Nick's game in front of everyone at the dinner table on Taco Tuesday. Oh my God, the sacred Taco Tuesday. Guess what day it is, guys? It's Tuesday! So she's really hoping that somebody initiates a gratitude circle, and then she's gonna put Nick on the spot and ask him, who are you loyal to? Really? Is it Tommy and Sis? Or is it Cliff and Nicole? Or is it Jackson and Holly? So then Christie's like, you know what, I might just check it out and not do it. Oh no, please do it, please do it. So I don't know if she's gonna do it or not, but we'll see. So then Jackson and Nicole, that would be iconic. Anyway, Jackson and Nicole were chatting in the patio area, and Jackson is, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about how much fun Taco Tuesday would be. So Jackson says that Nicole and Cliff really had his back when he was at his lowest point, and they were always checking up on him, like the week that he was up on the block and he had to do his punishment with the alien squirting its guts all over him. And they were there for him when he had nothing to offer. They weren't there because they wanted something from him. They were just genuinely checking in on him. So he says Christie and Sis, on the other hand, only show up when they want something from me. And I did things only for them up until day 44. Like, everything he did was for that group, and they did not appreciate it. So Jackson mentions that Cliff told him earlier that he wants to chat with the two of them and Holly, maybe like come up with some sort of a deal or something, but they're gonna wait a little bit to chat so that nobody sees it and starts like freaking out about it. So Jackson is telling Nicole, I've always wanted you here. I didn't appreciate the way that you were treated a month or two ago. You mean when you closed the door in her face? Because I remember that happening. I love how all of these house guests love to just like erase themselves from these situations. You were part of that Nicole bashing session. Come on. So he says, I think you're an angel, and I love Cliff, and I want to work with both of you guys because I really respect you. Cool. Okay. So then the house guests had this like barbecue picnic dinner outside. Aww. And then later, Nick and Christie were talking in the RV room. So Christie was saying that she wanted to wait to talk to Nick until taco night, Taco Tuesday, but then I guess Nick asked her to talk, so she was like, I just really hope that this doesn't mean we're not gonna get the Taco Tuesday action, because if we miss out on that, that's just gonna be typical Big Brother 21, but we deserve so much better. So Christie says, I'm not mad at you, because Nick was like, are you mad at me? And Nick starts explaining how he made the deal with Jackson and Holly 2 days before the HOH competition, and then after the blow up, he thought he was going to be going up, so yes, he was fighting for HOH, blah, 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 blah. And Christie says, okay, well, I feel like you're playing both sides. She says, I don't feel like you owe me any loyalty, but I see you promising loyal to people that I care about, Sis and Tommy, and I see you playing every side of the house, and she doesn't like that. She doesn't know where he stands, and she says everybody thinks that you have their backs, and you're just gonna continue to throw competitions and let them take shots at each other, and I don't respect that. I don't respect that style of gameplay. So Nick says, I do not throw competitions, except for the one that I threw to Tommy when Tommy won HOH, that boat one. He is admitting that he did throw that. So he says, you'll see it on the show. Famous last words every season. So then Nick is going through his explanation about how he started working with Nicole and Cliff. He started getting closer to them when he was kicked out of Grateful. But then when he wasn't a target for Grateful anymore, he started to gravitate back towards them and get back in with them. So he's got friends everywhere, right? So that's why that happened. But Christie is then saying, okay, well, what about the week that Jack and Jackson were up on the block? Did you ever actually want Jack to stay? I don't think you had any intention of keeping him. And Nick swears that he would have kept Jack if the votes were there. I really do think he would have. So Christie's like, okay, I've wanted to believe you so many times in this game. I really have wanted to, but everyone seems to feel that way about you. Everybody seems to think that they are working with you. You tell everyone that you have their backs and promise them safety. And she brings up another thing. You have promised Sis and Tommy that if we went forward with that 6 and we got down to the final 6, meaning them, Christie, Cliff, and Nicole, that if Nick won HOH at final 6, that he would take a shot at Cliff and Nicole before he went after any of them. So she says, I guarantee if I were to ask Cliff and Nicole, they would not be under that impression. They would not think that you would go after them. So then before Nick can like speak to that, Christie starts crying because she's loyal. She doesn't play like that. And she says that it's upsetting because there are loyal people that she would like to see link up and work together, but she feels like Nick is in the middle, keeping them from working together. That's just kind of how the game works, isn't it? Oh. So yeah, Nick says, I've made it known that I am loyal to Sis, Tommy, and Nicole. He has said that over and over again, but then again, he also is making side deals with other people, so. All right, so he says, it's not my fault if other people like me outside of that group. Oh my God. So then he says, I feel guilty that I have so many people that like me and trust me. You know, if I win HOH, what am I supposed to do? Oh my God, it's so sad. He has too many friends. What a conundrum. So he says, I'm not gonna let anything happen to my 3, Sis, Tommy, and Nicole. And he says, I'd be cool with Cliff making the final 5, but he is not getting into my group of Sis, Tommy, and Nicole. Okay, so then Christie's like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna let you know I am gonna be using you in my campaign. I am gonna be going hard against you. That's just how it is. And Nick is like, okay. They do exchange hugs and love yous at the end. All right, meanwhile, Nicole and Sis briefly compare notes on Nick. He's been telling both of them that he is loyal to them and Tommy. That's consistent. They believe him on that. He has been very consistent with that. But then they also talk about how supposedly Nick has been telling Nicole to go after Sis and Tommy, and he's been telling Sis and Tommy to go after Nicole, and they both agree, like, he's never said anything like that to us. So Sis says Jess is feeding lies to Christie, because obviously Jess does not like Nick and she wants him out. So then after this conversation, Nicole listens in on some of the Nick Christie talk. We'll come back to that in a little bit. And then Tommy and Sis check in with each other, and they both believe that Nick is telling the truth. Of course they do. All it takes is a few minutes of chat with Nick and they are back on Team Nick. He's telling the truth about some things, but let's be real, he is playing a very slimy and shady game. Come on. I have a drinking problem. Okay, so anyway, where are we? They both feel that Jess is feeding Christie false information about Nick. And Tommy says, moving forward, he would like to make a deal with Cliff, Nicole, and Jess that they're all gonna go after Jackson and Holly next week. Again, you're doing this again, because that deal really worked out so great the first time. You're really gonna do this again. You could tell Tommy is crapping his pants because he's losing all of his safety blankets now. He doesn't have Jack anymore. He's about to lose Christie. It's Bluey. So he's freaking out. So then Sis says, I don't know if we can get Jess in on that deal. She's already made a deal with Jackson and Holly. And Sis does not want Jess to win HOH anyway, because she knows that she's gonna target Nick, and they don't want to lose Nick. They trust him, they believe him, and they feel like if Nick goes, that's another number for them gone. So they do not want just to win HOH. So then Tommy is planning on talking to Cliff soon, because he's afraid if Cliff wins HOH, he's gonna target Tommy, and he's gonna tell Cliff, we don't have to be rivals. Like, we could figure something out here and work together or whatever. So Tommy is also worried that he's not as good with Nick as he thought he was. He believes him, but at the same time, he's starting to realize that Nick is becoming like a new Cat. You know how Cat was good with a lot of different people? He feels like Nick is doing the same thing, and he's not really sure where he ranks with Nick. He worries that he might be at the bottom of Nick's totem pole. So Sis is trying to assure Tommy, no, Nick wants to go to the final 3 with us. We're good with him. Okay, so then Cliff and Nicole have a game chat, and Nicole is filling him in on all of the Nick information and what she heard, overheard Nick and Christie talking about. So basically what she overheard was Christie saying to Nick, like, oh, are you working with Cliff or not? Like, would you put Cliff on the block? And then Nick would be like, I don't want to put Cliff on the block. So she felt pretty good about hearing that. So she says, Nick was never telling us to put up Sis and Tommy, and vice versa. You know, I checked in with Sis, and she said he wasn't telling them to put us up. So it's just Jess stirring the pot. She is trying to get everyone against Nick. And they agree. Jess is unraveling right now for no reason. Like, why would she be doing this, like, at this time of the week, too? It's not like they're coming up on a new HOH yet. You never know who could win the next HOH competition. So it's really unnecessary to be doing this right now. If she was going to do that, she should sit on this information for a while and strike when it makes more sense. So Nicole says about Jess, keep your mouth shut. Oh, okay. She's really nervous about working with Jess moving forward because she feels like every time she looks at Jess, she's about to like explode on somebody. And she just is really like on edge right now, and it's not making Nicole comfortable to work with her. So then they were talking about Christie trying to blow up Nick's game on the way out. And they say they feel bad for him because he's just trying to survive. They respect his gameplay, and they see a lot of similarities between Nick's gameplay and their own. What? I don't think you guys know everything that Nick's been doing, because I don't see tons of similarities there. I mean, there's some, like, obviously they're bouncing around, they're just trying to survive, I get that, but Nick is like super shady. Alright, so yeah, they say if Christie does blow up Nick's game, they're just gonna scoop him up at that point. I just want someone to take out Nick. He's a lot. So they also realize that Christie is doing this to try and keep the target off of Tommy and Sis. So then they talk about how Jackson and Holly want to work with them. They're like super popular now. Everybody wants to get with them. And they feel like they can probably trust Jackson and Holly. And they realize, like, yes, we are potential tools for Jackson and Holly to use to get further in the game. But they feel like if Jackson and Holly promise something, they're gonna stick with it. So they are gonna talk to them soon about working together. But before they could really discuss that more, Jess comes outside and breaks up that conversation. Okay, so then Sis and Christie were chatting, and Sis gives Christie the go-ahead to campaign this week, because at first Christie was saying, I'm not going to campaign against you. I can't do that. You're such an angel and I can't do it. Oh my God, you're so sweet. So Sis keeps telling her, no, you should campaign. You should definitely try and stay. Don't throw out your game like that. So Christie says, it's probably a waste, but I'll campaign. She already started anyway. Oh my God. So Sis says, you could literally always get people to flip the votes, and if I go home, I go home. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, well, if you feel that way, then why don't you just leave? Oh, I can't stand when people say stuff like that. So then Christie's saying that she loves this game, and it would really just be disrespectful to the game if she didn't at least try to stay. And You know, there's no way Christie is going out without a fight. And I respect that. I think that's great. You should try to campaign, duh. So then the feeds went down for more than an hour last night, and there was a rumor going around online that somebody from the outside world blasted a message over a loudspeaker about Tommy and Christie knowing each other. And they even included an audio clip of Christie in the diary room from the first episode when she found out that Tommy was in the house with her, and she was all like, I don't know if Tommy is gonna hurt or help my game, but blah 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 blah. So they included that clip, and yeah, that's pretty wild if it's true. So then Big Brother made them go inside. They were locked in there early, and it seems like maybe Big Brother told them not to talk about it because when the feeds came back, no one was really saying anything about it. But at one point last night, we got some confirmation that yes, it did in fact happen. Holly asked Jackson, do you know what that thing said? And then the feeds cut. Yeah, so only a few people were outside at the time that it happened. I tried to rewind back to, or flashback back to right before the feeds went down, but I didn't hear it in the background, so I don't know when it actually happened, but I believe Cliff and Tommy were outside. I don't know about Jackson or potentially Sis. It might have just been Cliff and Tommy. I'm not sure if anybody else was even out there. But later last night, Christie was upset again about America potentially hating her. Why else would she be bringing that up now? You know, so it definitely seems like it happened, right? We got more confirmation today. At this point, I'm saying, yeah, it definitely happened. So the house guests went to bed early last night. Wow, so exciting. And they got up pretty late today. Wow. But this morning we did get some cliff notes, and we got some more confirmation about what happened. So he says something unsettling happened last night, and he's not going to talk about it in detail on the feeds because it doesn't merit it. And he says, fortunately, it did not work the way that someone wanted it to work, and it's not going to have any effect on any of us. Interesting. So he says it really hits home that a lot of people are invested in this game, and a lot of people are paying attention. And he's just saying, like, I know there's probably a lot of people judging all my moves in this house, but I'm just doing the best I can. Cliff's line is, I'm an imperfect man playing an imperfect game. Okay. So then Christie and Tommy were alone in the RV room at one point this morning, and Christie asks Tommy, can you tell me what happened? They told me that you can tell me. Feeds cut. Of course. So yeah, it seems like only Cliff and Tommy heard it. I don't know. But then, like, at one point Cliff and Tommy were talking alone too this morning, and what did Cliff say to him? He said, oh my god, I have like cold brain. Cliff said to Tommy basically like, that he doesn't believe the message and it was like made up. Cliff, did he get like paid off or something? What is this? So yeah, I guess it's not gonna affect the game, but I'm curious. I want to know your opinions. How do you feel when something like this happens, when there's this influence from the outside world? Personally, I'm not huge on this kind of thing. I don't know. It really depends on the situation. Like, to be fair, Christie and Tommy did come in with an unfair advantage this season, but at the same time, it's not their faults that production did that. It's not like they were like, we're going in together. You know what I mean? So, should they be punished for that? I don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. I have mixed feelings about it. So other than that, there hasn't really been anything else very interesting happening so far today, but we've got 2 days left until the eviction. It is Tuesday, so we'll see if the Taco Tuesday thing happens. Fingers crossed that it does. Yeah, so we'll be back for more tomorrow, and until next time, much love.